What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room. We are back. The Champions League is back, and we're very excited. Some very exciting team news, very interesting team news. We're going to discuss that today, and multiple things in the hour building up to today's match. But first, my friend Anthony, how are you doing today?
Very well. Very excited for this match. Buzzing after yesterday, Man United lost. No fans back in stadiums. First time for a while in the Champions League. Very excited.
Jared, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. It's been, I think I saw something. It's been over 500 days since the last European night at Anfield. Obviously, that was the Atletico second leg, the infamous second leg. So I'm excited. It's gonna be a great atmosphere for sure.
Great atmosphere, and it's going to be a very interesting lineup. So I think we have to start here. I mean, there are very interesting decisions. So let's start from the back, go forward. No Virgil van Dijk. Instead, the center back duo is Joel Matip and Joe Gomez. All right.
Yeah.
All right. How do we feel about this against Milan? Anthony, first.
We were all discussing, thinking Joel Matip was the one that would have been replaced midweek or against Crystal Palace, but I think it's raised a few eyebrows, obviously. Van Dijk getting taken out. I haven't seen Milan's team yet, so I apologise if I'm wrong, but Ibrahimovic up front, maybe Van Dijk would have been the better option to kind of defend against him. But it's good seeing rotation in defence because we don't want to kind of not play Gomez or give Konate or Gomez no minutes throughout the season. But yeah, I think it's okay, but I would prefer to see Van Dijk and Gomez rather than Matip and Gomez.
So there actually is no Ibrahimovic. He hurt his Achilles. It's going to be Rebic who is leading the line for them. So that's a very interesting one. Jared, no Van Dijk. Let's know in the comments as well. No Van Dijk at the back. Or Konate, as Richie says, Ben Richie says. Thoughts on that, Jared?
I think this is to be expected. It's the first Champions League group stage match. This isn't the last 16. This isn't a second leg of the knockout round, right? We need to rotate our squad. That's why we purchased Konate. That's why people coming back from injuries were so important. This is nothing I think to freak out about or be super surprised about. We don't know if Konate is ahead of Joe Gomez on the depth chart, and he definitely doesn't seem to be ahead of Matip. And we don't see training every day. We don't know what's going through Klopp and his team's his coaching staff's head every day and what they observe. So I'm very confident. Milan haven't been in the Champions League since 2013, is it right? Or 2011, something. So it's been a long time. They're a talented squad. They're dangerous, but they're not consistent, and I don't think they're ready for European night at Anfield. So I'm confident in the boys for sure, and I'm confident in the back line.
Let's jump to the midfield now. So he's very upset. Thiago, why is he out? He's out for Keita. Henderson, Fabinho, Keita is the midfield trio that will be taking on Milan. Anthony, I'll send that to you again. How do you feel about Keita getting the nod over Thiago?
I'm not going to lie, I love Naby Keita playing in the midfield. I know you do as well, Jack. But I think maybe it makes more sense to play. Actually, it's a bit of a weird one, to be fair. We know we have to rotate the midfield because we can't leave someone that good on the bench every single time in Keita, but we can't do it with Thiago either. Thiago in contention for man the match against Leeds, whereas Keita only got the last couple of minutes. But would we see Thiago and Keita in the same midfield? Maybe Keita on the right, but Henderson's obviously played on the right side of the midfield a lot more than Keita, so probably makes more sense with that.
Jared, Keita in the midfield, your thoughts?
I'm excited. I mean, he obviously was very, very good in the preseason. A lot of people were there's a lot of buzz about that. He was good in the first few matches when he did start. I personally would always like to see Thiago start for us. I think Thiago and Fabinho as a partnership is arguably unmatched in the rest of the Premier League, and can compete with any two midfielders in Europe. But again, rotation is part of the job. That we played a really intense Leeds match on Sunday. So these rotations are going to be made. Would I love to see Thiago? Obviously, if Harvey was healthy, Thiago, Harvey, and Fabinho again. Yes, that would be ideal. But again, these rotations are going to happen. And Keita's proved himself again in the preseason, the first few matches in which he did start. He has looked really good. So, again, I trust in Klopp's judgment there.
Keita should be a starter for Thiago and Fabinho. I like this midfield a lot, but I think Henderson, I like him being trusted in the midfield, against Milan, Champions League night. So Mane not featured. He's on the bench, Lopaku. So he's on the bench. He's not hurt to the point where he can't feature on the bench. But that last name on the team sheet, Divock Origi, that's the most controversial one. It's in the title. Anthony, your thoughts?
I mean, I'm not saying it's obviously just kind of going to their pessimistic, but he's not great. He's not good enough for Liverpool. But I'd love to obviously see him do well here. I think every Liverpool fan would love to see him do well here. He's a club legend for everything that happened against Madrid, against Barcelona. But will he do it again? He needs the dreadlocks back. But unfortunately, I think Mane should have started.
Jared, Mane, hard done. He scored that late goal against Leeds. But
I thought, aside from his final his decision making in the final third, the final product, aside from that, he was actually pretty impressive against Leeds. I thought, again, there's something not clicking for Mane. Arguably the past year plus, obviously all of last season, everyone noticed it. His first touch, his confidence, that final decision seems a bit delayed, whether to shoot or pass. Sometimes he loses the ball when he shouldn't. So again, I think the board and Klopp sent a message that we are happy with this squad. No one was willing to buy Origi at the price that we were looking for, so he's going to have to play for us at times. And I wouldn't be surprised with a fully fit Liverpool if Origi does score. He loves the big occasion. Back with fans in Anfield, it's going to be a crazy environment. The stadium's going to be buzzing. And if Matip plays another 1-2 with Trent in and around the box, and then Trent whips in a cross to Origi and he's just on the end of it, I promise you he'll finish it. So let's judge Origi back in the full strength squad. Obviously Van Dijk's out tonight, or he's not starting.
Yeah.
But Gomez is fully fit, Matip's fully fit, the fullbacks are fully fit, and everyone's being rotated and rested appropriately. So let's see how he does tonight and give him a bit more of a leash. Although I do understand the hesitations.
I want to bring up this perspective of things from Roberts on YouTube. So Origi does not play. He doesn't feature on the bench, I think, the last two matches. And you pull him out for this Champions League match. For me, it screams a lot like Keita last year against Madrid. Doesn't play for months, then you drop him in against Madrid. He struggles, and you're like, oh, and then you don't play him for the rest of the year, basically. You're like, why did you struggle? Well, you dropped him in against Madrid. It's the high-intensity atmosphere. Is this the wrong decision to pull him in this match? Not the rotation, but this match. Is this one going to be okay for Origi? Anthony, I'll go to you first on that one.
I'm kind of 50-50 on it, because the only thing is, like the comment just said, was it Robert? Origi's not even been in the squad, so it's such a strange decision by Klopp to replace literally one of the best forward players in the world in Mane for Origi, who scored 1 goal last season. But especially it's a Champions League night, first time fans are back at Anfield. It doesn't make sense. It's probably confused everybody, but you never know. I think Origi, he has these moments where he just proves us all wrong. Like he did it against Everton a couple of seasons ago, against Barcelona. Who knew Origi would have been the one to save us? And yeah, I mean, I've got faith in him. As much as I kind of, he's not that good, I still have faith in him to score today.
Yeah, I think he's going to feature this season quite a fair few times, because we probably do want to raise some his value and try and sell him on for a bit more. But Jared, this match, is this one the wrong one to bring him in? Because we talk about rotation, it's good, but is this match the wrong one for Origi?
I mean, I understand that argument, but again, Milan are a very young squad. Ibrahimovic is out, kind of their focal point, their seasoned veteran, their leader on the pitch. So I do think this moment is a bit big for the likes of Milan, although they're really talented. And they've had kind of a resurgence as of last season. Origi scored in a Champions League final. He's scored the winning goal in a Merseyside derby, regardless of how crazy that goal was. He loves the big moments. He scored in the Barcelona second leg. So he loves the big moments. And he's not like Salah or Trent, who's gonna have the weight of the weight of our offensive creativity on his shoulders. He just needs to, make some good runs. And then in those few instances where he is on the end of things, do well with it. And I think he's fully capable of that on his night. And again, who really did excel last season with all the injuries and just the implosion we had? Besides Salah, I don't think anyone played at or above their standards. Bobby struggled, Mane struggled, Trent struggled. I guess Robbo didn't struggle as much, but I think Origi could surprise us, definitely.
We talk about players that thrive or that both with fans or without fans. Maybe Origi is one of those players who relied on fans. Think about those nights where he had those big moments. Everton in the Cup end, and obviously the 4-0 against Barcelona. I mean, those were two unbelievable atmospheres. Maybe, he comes back and he does it this time around.
Another thing, maybe, because obviously we've got AFCON coming up where Salah and Mane aren't going to be there, so it's good to kind of get him in early. So he's getting minutes under his belt, or whatever the phrase is. But yeah, and we know he's not the worst striker in the world. I know all of us like to kind of abuse him, but during the 15-16 season, I think it was, he was scoring goals for fun. Obviously until Funes Mori injured him, but we know there's a player in there, but he's just quite a lazy guy. Plus, I think Matty said it best. Origi works best when we're kind of hitting balls over the top into him. Our current system does not fit the way Origi plays, because obviously Firmino's the one who kind of drags out defenders, so Mane and Salah have more space. But Origi is the target man who wants balls over the top, so he could just finish them off.
I want to bring in the Milan lineup really quick. Now, there's a video actually on the LFC transfer room with Nima Tabule Rutari. Go check that out before the match. It's only about 10 minutes long. Gives it a look at what they're going to play like. And the player that he mentioned first, Sandro Tonali, not in the starting lineup for them. Let's see. Is he on the bench? He is. Yeah, he is. So Tonali benched. He's a tremendous young midfielder. Great passer, great mover of the ball. But he's not starting. So again, we're not Milan experts here, but is there anybody in this side that stands out to you? Jared, I'll toss it to you first, because I remember you mentioned Hernandez and Leao, I think, a couple broadcasts ago.
Yep. So that left side of the pitch, Ismail Benaceres, who has actually been starting ahead of Tonali a good amount. It seems like Empoli is switching them in and out game to game. It seems like so. He's clearly there for a reason, and Tonali isn't necessarily ahead of him in the depth chart. Rafa Leao and Theo Hernandez on that left flank are very dangerous. Leao has scored 2 goals, and I think the first 3 Serie A matches, he had a really nice goal at the weekend against Lazio. And he's 6'2". He's pretty pacey, good on the ball. He's not afraid to take people on. And I think what was missing was the final, his finishing, his clinicality essentially, and he's starting to turn that around. So he's who I would look out for. And that left side of the pitch, look out for that left side with Benacer, Theo Hernandez, and Rafael Leao. And of course, Rebic. I mean, he's a veteran. He's a very solid goal scorer. He's proven. Look out for him as well. But yeah, Trent will have his hands full a bit tonight, I would say.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that there's no Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
And wish injury on other players, obviously, but I'd much rather. I mean, he's 40 or he's 39, but he's got the mentality of.
He's just one of those players that could pop up with goals, isn't it? Like Giroud, he always used to just stand at the back, disappear for 90 minutes, and he'll score against us. But I think I'm not sure if you mentioned Kessie as well in the midfield. He played well against Man United. Yeah, Chris had just mentioned him. Against Man United in the Europa League last season. I would say that we shouldn't really worry about them too much, but that's just me being optimistic. I haven't watched them that often, if I'm being honest. I don't know half the players are, but yeah.
Just to interject, I think Kessie is their best player by far. I think he's like the focal point, box to box. He takes their penalties, if I'm not mistaken, when Ibra's not in. He's an incredible defender. He's physical, good passer of the ball. So he's kind of like he's to be expected. He's going to be immense no matter what. I think the kind of X factor players that, depending on how they perform, could decide if they get a point or if they even win are the likes of like Rebic, Leao, maybe Teo Hernandez, people like that. But yeah, Kessié is immense. Absolutely.
Drew
immense.
is on the bench. So he's an option. He's one of those players where you mentioned it, Jared. He just figures out ways to score. Maybe it was you, Anthony. I forget.
I didn't realize he played for Milan. Never mind.
He does, yeah. That was a pretty surprising one, wasn't it? They're very young. Brahim Diaz is one of those. Nima mentioned it in the video. They were the youngest team to finish in the top 4, I think, in all top 5 leagues. So they are a very young side. A lot of Kessie, Tonali, Diaz, Leao isn't very old. I don't think Rebic is ancient. You have like the Zlatans and the Giroux. But it's gonna be very interesting. Let's switch gears a little bit. Look at the Liverpool bench. So I'll have it typed out in a second, but it's stacked, this bench. Van Dijk, I'm not gonna say everyone, but there's Van Dijk, Konate, Thiago, Milner, Mane, Jones, Minamino, and then Tsimikas. I guess those are 8 pretty. Some less so than others, like Van Dijk's and Thiago's, but that's some. I don't want to say it, but that's some depth, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only thing is obviously there's starters who are on the bench, and maybe if we replace them with the players that they've been replaced with, the bench doesn't look as good. But yeah, I mean, if we're struggling against them, just bring on Mane, bring on Thiago. I'm good to hear Minamino's back as well. I didn't realise he was. So it'd be good to see him get some minutes as well.
Yeah, no, I think this is going to be so confidence levels for you guys. This match, we're about 45 minutes ish from kickoff before the team news was announced versus right now. Jared, confidence up or confidence down after we've seen the squads that have come out?
No change. I will never assume that I know better than Klopp, and we're not at training every day. We don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And again, I do think this moment is a bit too big for Milan. As you said, they're an extremely young squad. Ibra's out, Giroud's on the bench. They have some leadership in there we didn't mention, like Simon Kjær, the Danish center back. He's a very solid player, veteran. But my confidence. I'm very confident, even if it's just like a 1-0 or a 2-0 win, where we're kind of just controlling things and it's not as potent as say we were against Leeds. I'm not worried about the lineup.
Anthony, on your end, confident, less confident after the news?
Yeah, same as Jared, to be honest. I'm not as confident, but I'm still like very confident that we're going to win, just because obviously the few changes in defence and up front. But we should easily be able to handle them, to be honest. Can they handle Mo Salah? Can they handle Jota? No.
So will Origi score today? I'm going to put my credibility on the line here, and I'm going to say yes, he will score. I'm going to pull this up. Chris, I know you're in the watch along a little bit. You better not be slandering my boy Dijk during the game, because he's going to drop a masterclass, and you're going to have to say a full apology.
Origi's scoring a hat trick. This is Origi's revival season for us. He's had a couple seasons off. He's been lazy, but he's going to put in the hard work now. Bag a hat trick against Milan, and that's it. We're going to win the league and Champions League.
I'm saying a goal. Anthony's saying 3. Jared, balance us out. Give us the brace for Origi.
I like a goal. I can't get crazy. I can't promise a brace. I think a goal. I'm a striker myself. We like the big moment. We like the crowd. And to your point earlier, I think this affected Bobby as well. I think these are the type of players that they love the flair. They love the big moments, and without that, they can be lacking in energy. So yeah, I think he'll get a goal.
So obviously Firmino is still hurt, I believe. He's not on the bench, is he?
Yeah.
No, he's on the bench. So does this offer? I mean, I think it was just a stream or two ago we were saying Origi doesn't have a long-term future. Does this indicate that maybe Origi does have a long-term future here? Or is it a resale value kind of thing? We want to put him in the shopping window so we can show what he can do and then sell him on. Or is he going to be here for the long term?
I think it's a bit of both. I think since we weren't able to move him on, and obviously we didn't have an exciting summer in terms of signings. He's gonna have to play at times, unless he's absolutely like, I don't know, not showing up to training or something insane. He's gonna have to play, and I think there's kind of three options. He either continues to play horribly and his value stays the same or drops, or he has kind of a middle ground season. Maybe he gets like 5 to 10 goals and his value stays around the same amount, or maybe increases a bit, or he really, really stuns us and has 15 goals this season, 15 to 20 goals off the bench, something insane, which I don't think will happen. But in that case, maybe we would think about keeping him. I don't think he's going to be here the next 2 to 3 years by any means, but since he is here, we need to A, show that he still has some talent, and B, he's going to have to play just because of our depth.
I'm going to take a brief diversion. Do you guys even know where this club plays? Sheriff Tiraspol?
No.
$5, you know what division they play in. I didn't know.
I mean, you'd think. I didn't know. I don't want to say anything stupid.
They're in the Moldovan National Division.
I was going to say it'd be America, but
oh my gosh,
Moldovan. They're beating Shakhtar Donetsk 2-0.
Wow!
In the 80th minute. So that's the Champions League, baby. It's special, and that's where Dortmund is. Dortmund is beating Besiktas 2-0. Future Liverpool player Jude Bellingham has a goal and an assist.
Oh, he looks so good, man. He's so class. He is so class. He's gonna break our hearts. Gonna go somewhere else.
He's coming to Liverpool, man. You need to believe. Man United took Sancho. We're gonna take Bellingham.
Yeah,
I would prefer it that way. Oh yeah,
I would as well. No, let's talk about the United match a bit yesterday. You mentioned Anthony. I mean, Jared, were you watching that match when the American? You good over there, Anthony?
Just a wasp flew past.
Oh, okay. Stay safe. The American, oh goodness, I think it's PFA. Jared, back me up. Do you remember the American guy's name who scored against United? I'll look it up.
Something like PFA. Yeah, I'm not the most into the U.S. men's football. Like I don't follow that too closely. I wasn't able to watch the match, but I did see the highlights. I saw the Lingard calamity. Yeah. And the assist on the first goal was incredible too, to be fair. But
that's the thing. Like, obviously, I don't want to talk about United that much, but like, they can have all the players they want. They've got Ronaldo, Bruno, Pogba, but with Oli as manager, they're just never gonna like take that next step. Whereas we've got Jurgen Klopp, and even with our 15-16 team, we got to a Europa League final with Jurgen Klopp, got to a Capital One Cup final, but that's because we've got a world-class manager, and United need that to take the next step, but that's not going to happen for them, frankly.
So looking elsewhere in the group, Atletico Madrid and Porto, they're playing. What are we rooting for in that match? That one's that's in Madrid. What result are we rooting for there? Is a draw the best? I'm always a fan of draws elsewhere. Maybe a Porto win.
Porto win for me. I think Atletico probably. Would they be favourites in our group? I
think Atletico are probably us ever so slightly ahead of them. I think because they were champions of Spain, weren't they?
Yeah. So obviously, I prefer Porto to go. I mean, to be fair, we don't play against them in the next round, do we? But obviously, we'd prefer Porto to go through them. Atletico.
Yeah, overall, I'd much prefer Atleti, obviously not to qualify for the round of 16, but I would be very surprised if Milan or Porto qualified over them. They signed Rodrigo de Paul. They got Griezmann back. They have a wealth of attacking riches these days. In Suarez, I think he won the Pichichi last year, if I'm not mistaken. He had the most goals in La Liga, right? So, they're going to be a tough outfit. They're going to be tough, and obviously we know how they play under Simeone. So, yeah, I'd prefer a Porto win, but we'll see. Speaking
of Simeone, actually, I was looking this up last night. His net worth is 130 million euros. I don't know how he's that rich, but that man is like wealthy. Like that, I saw that, I was like, what on earth? Because that was just like, I don't even know how I found that.
I think he's been there for like 40 years at Atletico, so it's just like time.
Exactly. No, and I think it was on my FM save. I was looking at how much money I was making. So these professional coaches, and said Simeone is worth 130 million. I think it might have been dollars, not euros. So for those of you who are just joining us now, let's run through the lineups once more. I'm excited to see Keita the most. Personally, that's my player that I'm going to be watching. I mean, everyone who's watched the stream constantly knows that I'm one of the biggest Keita fans that's ever existed. But what player of the 11 are you going to be watching the most, Jared? That's catching your eye.
Joe Gomez, definitely. I think before the injury crisis, I think he was kind of probably second on the depth chart at center back behind Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, Matip is in there as well, but I'm really excited to see how he bounces back, especially being thrown into such a massive match. I think he's totally ready. He's played in the biggest of stages, of course. But yeah, Joe Gomez for me. I want to see if that pace is still there. I want to see if his agility on the ball is still there. So yeah, that'll be cool to see.
Anthony, who is the guy you're watching the most?
I mean, Gomez as well with drag, but I think all our eyes are going to be on Origi as well. But it's a weird one because Origi can play left wing as well, can't he? So I wonder how they're going to like rotate between Jota, Origi, and Salah.
What would you do for your front three? Would you have Origi out on the wing, Jota in the middle, Salah to the right, or how would you arrange that front? I think I would stick. I think Origi is a bit better on the wing.
Yeah, I. Oh, sorry. You can go ahead if.
No, I'm still thinking what to say.
I think Origi on the wing. I think Jota's more of like a poacher. He's a great header of the ball. He's just a pure clinical finisher, right? He's a dog. But Origi on the left wing, like he'll take people on, do some step overs. He can be a creative player at his best. So yeah, I think him cutting in from the left and trying to create can be effective. But it's a tough one because he can obviously play through the middle too.
Yeah, I think Origi's, I wouldn't say it's this trademark finish, but he always kind of cuts inside and then curls it in from outside the box. Obviously, that's all from the left wing. Plus, Jota's movement is just incredible. He's probably up there with Mane for strikers. Like his movement's just insane to just get in front of the defender and score a goal. But Origi, we all know, is just a bit lazy up there. So yeah, I'd rather see Origi on the wing and Jota up top.
So Chris saying both in the middle. I've always been a fan of this, personally. Get Salah up front. That'll, I think, increase his longevity if he doesn't have to be out on the wing. I'm a big fan of Salah in the 9. But maybe I'm in the minority on that.
He's good up front. I think he's got more goals than games up front, but it's just who would be playing the right wing. I think whenever Jota has played right wing, he's kind of like ghosted. But obviously, there's always room for improvement, and today he needs to show that.
I mentioned Milan's left side, but our right side is going to be very potent as well because Theo Hernandez at left back for Milan, he bombs forward and he's really known for his offensive ability, but they are vulnerable on that side. So if Salah's on the right hand flank with Trent and maybe Hendo, I didn't see exactly where the midfield was lining up, but that'll be a really nice side of the pitch to work with. So I like Salah out there tonight. But yeah, he could definitely play through the middle as well, of course. Play him at center back, play him anywhere.
So we're about half hour from kick, about 15, 20 minutes away from Chris's watch along. Let's get our predictions in. Anthony, I'm going to you first. What is your match prediction for this one?
I'm going to go with a 3-1 win. Maybe I would have said a clean sheet had Van Dijk started, but obviously Gomez's first match back. I think there'll be like the odd little mistake, and yeah, but 3-1.
Who is your goal scorers?
Origi hat trick.
Oh, okay. You're backing it up. All right, Jared.
I'm gonna go 2-1. I agree with Anthony. I think if Verge was in the lineup, I'd feel very confident about the clean sheet. 2-1 Liverpool. Let's say Origi gets a goal and Hendo gets one from midfield. Left field shout there.
I like that. That's not terrible. I'll say I'm going to back Gomez and Matip. I don't think Rebic, and I'm going to knock on wood as I'm saying this, I don't think he scares me up front as maybe an Ibrahimovic or a Chedu would. Maybe that's me being naive. But I'm going to say 2-0. I think Divock gets on the score sheet. I think Jota gets on the score sheet. I think a Salah assist is there. But it's going to be a good match. I'm very excited to see it. So we're going to leave it there. About a half-hour stream ahead of this one. about half hour away. Make sure to join Chris. Have a friend to watch the match with you. I'll also be watching and be in the chat there. So thank you to everyone for tuning in today's stream. For myself, Jack, for Anthony, and Jared, thank you very much for tuning into the stream. And make sure to join us in just under 20 minutes, I believe, for Chris's watch along. This has been a stream from the LFC Transfer Room. We'll catch you in the next one, which is happening very